Self while I talk through my problems with teaching, or ideas, I guess, not necessarily problems. And I notice some teachers do this for a class. I try not to do that in front of real people that are forced to kind of stand there. But I'm gonna start starting every class with the story. 古代以前有妖怪叫連啊，不龍不虎有獅子嘅面啊，年到嚟食嘅犀利，啲人匿埋啲山上避一避。又一日喺天落嚟，都係叫連啊保護我哋。年以後剩飯之頭，打啲鑼鼓響笑張頭。練武功冇得生猛啲，拜年門口慶祝啊新年，生意興隆啊，身體健康。我現在會 Google Translate my song。There was a village that the Nan monster would come and pillage. He came every year, and out of fear, people hid up in the mountains crying tears. Until one day came a new Nan, becoming the village guardian. Later, paper, bamboo, and paint cloth body tail sculpted into the shape of a head of a fierce horned lion with flames. Walk on divine light like a white crane, ramming horn strikes. Twisting waist might, the lion's roar is ready to fight. A paper mache moving meditation. The drum sings the heartbeat of a nation. Grasping the sky from the earth to rise. The sun and moon have organized. Ground shaking firecrackers exploding, red paper and smoke. Spring couplets penned by old folk. Now don't blink an eye. Watch what we do as we dance the lion dance. Hey, cool! That we were working on. Well, let's see. What's the main thing that we work on for the lion dance beats? I guess the first thing I want you to be able to do is play gong and cymbals. So it's like gong, dong, gong, dong, gong, 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 dong, gong, 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 dong, gong, 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 right? And then for cymbals, in the beginning, I guess it's the same thing. And then you try to play a little bit more of the beats. Let's see. You want to try? You want to try to play?
But you do the small ones because the loud ones are too heavy.
Small what?
Cymbals.
Those are all packed away. Oh, do we have small cymbals here? Why don't you just start playing drum first?
Okay. Yeah, go ahead. Keep playing. No.
Keep playing lion
Is that
dance
going to be
beats.
super loud?
No, it's not.
Okay.
I give you tips, or do you want to just?
Sure.
So one thing I want you to try. So when you're playing, I bet if you counted it out, sometimes it seems like your phrases end early.
Because I don't want it to keep on going. Just keep on.
I know, but I bet if we counted it out, it's probably because instead of ending on the 8th measure or the 16th measure, you're probably ending on like the 7th measure, or like a weird measure. So like when you do a phrase. So I didn't learn it by counting it out. I learned it by feeling. But if you're like, we'll try it again. Where you go. Here, why don't you count it? Okay. So like 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3. Why are you standing over there?
Because.
Okay. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's try to see it. Well, because these beats are in 4/4. But you know how you interrupt? You know how you said like you try to ask me a question right there? I didn't want to end it right there because I wanted to wait till the phrase seemed finished. Now I'm thinking about when does the phrase seem finished? To me, I'm just doing it by feeling, but I was trying to see if we could count it out so I could explain it better. But here, why don't you just play? Let's just. I learned it by feeling. I didn't learn it by counting out measures or anything like that. For lion dance drumming.
Okay, I'm not that good at drumming, but I'm gonna try. Let's see.
So what happened is, look at me. When you were playing, right? For that one, it's not necessarily ending the beat, but you switched beats. You switched from playing regular beats to playing, I think sometimes people call it hthe or hthe.
Combo.
You switched on 5. I was counting. You switched on 5 beats. But if you look like...
Because I don't know how to properly... I want to include those, but I don't know how to properly transition to them.
Okay, so usually when I transition to it, I don't start... I'll finish, and then I'll play that. So I'll go like... Actually, I wouldn't play it right here. I would play another one of those.
Instead of going, go.
Yeah, you just go duck, duck, up, duck, duck,
I don't
up.
know
So you
how.
go. So I do. Well, I'm using my right hand. You would use your left. So your dominant hand. So I do 1. But you're not. You gotta hit the. I hit this. That's how I. ended it. Well, I don't know. They say like sometimes left-handed drummers, it's different, but I wouldn't have ended it there, the where you ended it. I would have dragged it out a little bit longer. Now there is the truth that okay, if you're following the head, you have to sometimes go with what the head is doing, but you also try to make your drum sound smooth, and it doesn't sound smooth the way you're doing it right now.
Can I try again?
Go ahead. Go ahead. The whole time. Okay, keep going. I do it like this. So
what do you do when he jumps back?
Well, when they jump back, I'm like, and they jump back, and then I try to catch it when they land, like that, like. So that's why when you're doing the head, you try to do it. You try to kind of telegraph it so that the drum can see it. When you jump back, doom, doom, and then there's got to be a check. So you have to do a motion to make that check.
Okay. Can I go upstairs?
Yeah, sure. Oh, so maybe we'll go over some. Go ahead, you can go upstairs. Maybe we'll go over some northern beats. You want to try it?
Yeah.
You want to try it? You want to try it first? You want to try it first?
Okay. Oh wait, no. I know this. It's like a weird thing. Also, didn't you do Northern Beach for Tournament 3 Robert?
No, that was I played
Ukulele?
the Yud. All right, so here. Well, okay. Actually, northern beats, especially for the gong and the cymbals, except for that small kind of code thing, is easier. And I think it's a good way to learn how to play the drum. Although I've noticed certain people take to the northern beats more, and then certain people take to the lion dance beats more. And so far, it has lined up with with people who haven't been trained genetically. For some, it is weird because I've noticed people that just can't play lion dance beats at all, and then it turns out like they're kind of from more northern China, and then people, I was like, okay, so I thought I realized like, okay, playing these beats like. I figured playing stuff like that, okay, maybe that's just simpler, right? Because you're just going. And then I was teaching somebody who was just like a mother at the school, and I showed that to her, and she couldn't get it. But then I started showing her like lion dance beats, and it was like, boom, she just got it. Now I don't know, maybe it is like they say nature versus nurture. Maybe it was that she had heard that the lion dance beats as a kid or something like that. But I just thought it was interesting. But for some people, not for everyone, the northern beats is an easier way to pick up the drums. Although I've kind of stopped teaching it as much on this drum, because my son, not the son you saw, the older son, would play it at inappropriate times, like when we were about to do a traditional lion dance for a group of people who grew up doing lion dance. And I'm like, no, because then they'll forever be like, oh, your beats are different, and like, you know, I've never heard your kind of beats, and what's up with that? But they are useful for this kind of like copying. Like if we were playing together, I had a drum and you had a drum, and you just start off like, or we could even start off simpler, like, right? Right? Double time. This whole like little sequence and code, but I realized first you gotta, and I've been using this for the Dragon Dance, even though they're not really Dragon Dance beats, but I feel like they sound good with it. I just follow on that performance at the Bridgewater Town Hall. I was kind of adding some flair to it. I was like, have more. It's kind of like it's more similar to like what you would hear in Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, as opposed to say like a Shaw Brothers kung fu movie. So as the dragon is moving, I can kind of follow it and adapt to what I'm doing. Now the gong and the cymbals, all they kind of have to do is like gong 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 gong, or you know, you could be like gong gong gong, or like gong 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 gong. It's simpler than lion dance beat in that lion dance beat, since it has like dong chang 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 chang, dong chang chang lang chang chang. You can't play like gong gong gong, dong gong gong gong, right? You gotta be like gong gong gong. You have to stop. So you have to know where you are kind of in the measure. Whereas with this kind, with the northern beats, you don't have to know. You play right through. But as I started playing like, right? If you're trying to play, so you might be like, okay, so you're going like, and you can fall off, but you have to learn how to kind of stop, and then listen to the beat, and then, okay? What we would do is there'd be one cymbals. I remember I played the off cymbals. Like there's the cymbals that's going. And then I would have to play the off one, so it's like do, like and then you know, Zhang Lao Shi would teach me to. He's like, okay, if you get off, if you find yourself straying from the beat, you just play double time. So you have to think about the main beat to play the off beat, and that was harder. But we're not really there yet. We just got to see if we can follow the beat first. Okay, let's see here. No, that's good for drumming. Let's see, how long have we been going here? We've been going for 20 minutes. All right, so yeah, drumming can be a thing in and of itself, can't it? Should we do some lion dance stuff? What I like about kind of doing the lion dance without the head is when you're first learning stances, a lot of times just to find something to do with your hands. I feel like the traditional martial arts will have you put your hands here, right? And then the more modern, when they try to adapt and be more modern, they put the hands up here, right? Just because you kind of need to have some kind of guard. And I like that at least with the lion dance hand motions. I mean, I think there are types of karate in Fujinizwe crane that where you're doing like this anyway. So I figure, I don't know, why not do this? Because you're gonna be in the lion dance anyway. This is kind of hard for some people in the actual head, so you would still hold the sticks. You hold the sticks. You tend to hold the sticks when it's up more. But that's even kind of like I guess you wouldn't necessarily, I don't know, that's like a martial pose too. So why not just do that from the beginning? So we're practicing our low horse stance here, right? We'll just do some head movements here. Just looking side to side. If we were gonna teach the beats, it's dang dang dang, dong chang chang chang, dong chang chang chang, dong chang chang chang. Or I could just. The problem, here's what I don't like about this. It's in a way you have to learn this, right? But then I always see people, once they learn this, they'll go, and they're like, I'm doing exactly what you showed me, right? They'll start arguing with you. So why not, instead of that, start off with just, whatever, level 0, where you're just moving the head from side to side. You're just familiarizing yourself with the fact that you are wearing a head, right? Because this is more, now you're familiar with moving a head and you're making it, you're having clean movements. So maybe first you have to be, before you're like dong chang 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 chang, maybe you have to be like, da. What is it? This is just the gong, right? Gong, dong 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 gong, or you're just playing chang. All right. Well, anyway, first you have to familiarize yourself with this hand motion. It's not all tense. You're not holding it out here. It's relaxed. Right? And you have the head on your body here. And you sort of have a guard. All right? You get used to stepping, right? Having one foot bent, one back leg straight, right? You get used to that, these different stances. So this is like, you could say pre-beats, all right? Where you're just, how do you move with a lion head? You might lift up your foot, right? Sort of more like, okay, I'm being an untrained lion first. All right? Boom. Now, untrained, would you cross over? I think you do have to cross over. I think you do have to learn how to cross over just to walk in a circle. Well, we could walk in a circle then. And then you could circle the other side. Moving forward, moving back. The head goes up. And the funny thing is, if you, I didn't go to the parade this year, but at some point you experience where you no longer, you're so tired that it's almost like you don't know how to do lion dance. All right, so you're here. Now, once I have it on, I automatically feel like I have to move to the beat. So what if I didn't? If I was just, sometimes you will, you're not supposed to, but you will. It's like, okay, we gotta go over there, so you will just kind of move over there. I don't know, it's like socialized that I must move with the beat. Because I have too many hours logged in where I'm just doing like this. All right, and I'll go down to push it up, just because, you know, the space. Different ways to. But I usually wouldn't have the head stay up too long. I almost push the head up to rest my back. Now, how would we do that in class? I guess you could just do it, and then you'd learn tail, right? Just run through it. What I realized when you're doing tail, since we do white crane, you kind of are flapping the crane's wings, except for your bent over lower, which, you know, most of my training is kind of up here if you're fighting. But, you know, now that, you know, MMA is more popular and stuff for the grappling, I wouldn't necessarily go straight to this, but you can see how, maybe if I'm going here, you know, if you're turning to the side, and you kind of go in and stuff. So maybe the tail is actually very useful, those tail motions, or you could have your guard up, just so the guy doesn't like run back into you, or, you know, when they're doing like, you know, like it's like, boom, that could kick you in the face. So you kind of have to have your hands up. Sometimes you go through these positions because it just takes some pressure. I started doing that. You know, you do like this, kind of do some stretches. You got to make tail be something that's not hard for you. You have to make it be a rest, a warm-up, a stretch out, okay? Or you try to make it like that anyway. You know, you can even go down. Sometimes, you know, you can roll. If the head rolls, of course. All right, so you got your tail. All right, and I realized that a lot of our forms, it's gotten too complicated. And I taught the kids, like Lotlakun. And we had so many classes that were off, and they just forgot it all. So you need we need more, like even more basic forms. Like I'm adding all this stuff like pre-Lotlik or whatever. Like, yes, we have our opening, right? But then ultimately, I might have to just say, okay, if you can't remember that, just do this, all right? Boom. And that's your opening. And I was thinking of, like, if I taught this opening, right, have a game where, you know, you just feel with this hand, and you do, like, slow punches, right? And the other guy, 1, 2. And you just do, like, 1, 2. And the other person, 1, 2. Just so you have an idea of some kind of a sparring game with each move, right? 1, 2. Because just doing it line up and doing the moves, kids get bored. Although they'll probably find this 1-2 drill boring as well. Then there's this, right? You switch sides. Now you're switching to your dominant foot forward. So it almost looks like a, you know, whatever, like, you know, Notre Dame fighting Irish dance, except for that I think your dominant hand is forward. So now you could go, you know, block, block. The other guy could go boom, boom, and this guy could be boom, boom. You could just hit it down, 2, 3. And you could go boom, boom, boom. The other person, boom, boom, boom. 1, 2, 3. And you can kind of focus on punching this area. You're still pulling your punches. You're not really connecting. Maybe, you know, you're allowing yourself to be blocked. But it helps measure your distance You know, boom, boom, boom. All right. Then so boom, boom. So then you switch to this stance, right, where it's jab. You got to think about this one's a little bit more dangerous, I feel, to just let people do. But from here, because you could be like punch, you could be pow, you could be cup, you could be now, right? So this is more outside, and then right. And I think it's good to just introduce that, and that's already a lot of information for this, right? So that's already like a ton of games for that. So maybe introduce that, and then just do, all right. I was thinking the first form is just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Chops out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Tojo. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Chun Kun. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, breathe in. And again. And so that would almost be like a form that you would be tested on before you can move up to the next level. And I could see the next level would just be walking. You'd still have more sparring, right? Because you can add that in, right? Now you could start to maybe just slap box. And then you could kind of start to fake box before moving on. And I could see not showing the other basics even until sub G. So right from there, then you do look like, and you could do look like more like a pausing form, right? So there's a ton of drills you could do with this too, right? You would just hold it, but that could be like, grappling, and then this person just tries to push to the side, the knee goes in. This one could be the collar elbow wrestler. Anyway, that's what I wrote that whole thing out, and I think you could do all of look like before you even do Chun Kun Hiu Siu Ha Kyu. All right, and then for sub Chi, then you start doing more. You'd even have different basics where you're jabbing, and then you'll learn Chun Kun Hiu Siu Ha Kyu as it comes up in the form, right? Because there's this, boom, 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 boom. Okay, so I don't know. I wrote all that out was look like sub Chi, and then in look like and sub Chi, you already learn these Pao Kun, Cup Kun. These regular basics are fine for adults, but kids they don't have the attention span to go through all those 100 times. And also adults don't necessarily have the memory, like even if you did all those 100 times, will they remember that and will they practice it? So you need to have one of the forms be like, right? And then some people do that opening and some people just go, and then they just wait, right? And it's, yeah, yi, sang, say, lo, cha, ba, gao, sa. And I said to do it even lower, we'll really work on our stance. Yeah, yi, even maybe pause longer, which seems robotic. But to get that look, I feel like you do need to pause like that. And then some people would say, well, why do you need that look? Well, for lion dance, you definitely need that look. And I introduced this to the kids and had it as a form. I feel like in the beginning they would have groaned. But since we did so many forms and they couldn't remember it, they were like, okay, I'll do that because I can remember it. So they weren't as like, oh, this is too easy. Because we introduced all that hard stuff. So maybe there's a section where you're just feeling it out, seeing if you can take to it, seeing if you can learn as much as you can, and then you kind of go back and then, then for these self-practice, you memorize it and you just small bits and pieces. Okay, so we did some lion dance, we did some drumming, we did that. Oh, so that's for more external. I don't really get to teach internal at the Chinese school. But I was thinking of, you know, how would I do basics? And I think like the first thing when I kind of switched over to more being really relaxed was just this move right here. And like, you know, crane swing, right? You're just, what if I just did crane swing moves? Like, what's the simplest thing I could do? Oh, that's kind of like Tai Chi-esque, but not Tai Chi-esque, like where it's just freestyle. I have plenty of, I stretch out my whole body. Because you could take these and really like elongate, right? You can lift up, right? You can lift up a leg. You can do a kick here, and really take your time. But just thinking of it as, because the first thing I thought when I got real internal, it actually got faster because I was like, okay, I can put power here and then relax it and then put power again here. So it's more like, I don't know. So then it looks complicated, but I'm really just a crane flying, right? But I can, you know, do some strikes, do some blocks, switch sides, but it's really just this. And then there's lifting up your leg. So lifting up your leg implies a kick. And it doesn't have to be high kicks, right? Because you could be like kind of more in close and you're doing sweeps, you know, you push over. So is this hard to, like if I'm doing a freestyle, it's hard to copy, right? But if I'm just I'm flapping my wings and I'm switching sides and figure it out yourself. I mean, I can imagine what people will look like if they try to just copy. So I feel like you gotta break it down. It's just up and down. It's up and down on one side, right? It's up and down on the other side. That easily turns into cups and pows. And you know, you can go for a walk here. You can, if you're retreating, you can throw the kick behind you. So I feel like this is kind of, you could do this anywhere too, even though it's so long because you're doing it more relaxed instead of like flinging like that, which you can do it like that, but this is more just feeling your body out, moving along. I guess there's, you know, you could do this side. Is this easy to practice on your own though? To just do it freestyle. If you just think of, I'm flapping my wings, and what are the different ways to flap my wings? I don't know, because I did see someone do this, where they kind of just watched us in class, and then he said he worked on it on his own. He was living in a dorm, working in a restaurant, living in a dorm that was part of the, you know, included in working in the restaurant. And he said he just, you know, couldn't remember all these moves or whatever, didn't try to learn a form, but and he was tall, and you just work on like, you know, just to really, you know, because you're like this, right? You're cutting stuff up. So just to kind of loosen up your shoulders and relax. And then, you know, you might as well throw some moves where you're like, right? You might as well throw some martial artsy moves. I don't know what he would do for kicks. I think he would just throw a kick that made sense to him. So I feel like you can just, okay, you're a crane, go. You know what I mean? I feel like you can do that. It's not impossible. And it doesn't necessarily look like fucking bahawk. It doesn't necessarily look like Saito bahawk. It doesn't necessarily look exactly like what I trained before. Or it doesn't. I shouldn't say it doesn't look like what I trained before. It doesn't look like the forms because my Sifu did talk about this kind of being a more advanced way, but he had more details in terms of like how you do it in a strategy, which is is sort of secret. But even if it wasn't secret, it's hard to show it on a phone because right, it has to do with moving. But that works, right? If it's like your one idea, your one concept, hawk, right? Hawk. Just that one concept. How do you play with that? You could just do that for a long time and walk around, and that then you get some kind of workout. All right, that's our Wednesday workout there. How do I stop?